11.1's best DPS specs you could main in Season 2. That's right, we got 11.1. Now, things are starting to settle. I'm expecting this patch to drop end of the month. We're currently in February already. February 4th is today's date, so we're getting close. Some of this stuff's starting to settle in. Maybe it's time to actually consider what the best specs are for 11.1. Here we go from Comeback Kids.
Okay, the 11.1 PTR has been amazing so far. Class redesigns and updates with tons of new theory crafts, a brand new dungeon, a new season of Mythic Plus with a new dungeon rotation and a new meta. Today we're going to be talking about the strongest DPS specs so far in the War Within 11.1 PTR. We're going to talk about why they're dominating.
Some of this stuff's going to change.
Great, and some of the biggest changes heading into the new season.
Yeah, some of this stuff recently changed because Blizzard reworked a lot of the tier set bonuses, and some of that is considered here. So let's see how all these things balance out.
Before we do, a quick word from our sponsor.
Ooh.
War Thunder, easily one of the most comprehensive vehicle combat games ever made. It's available now for free on PC, consoles, and even on mobile. You got planes, ships, tanks, helicopters, and not to mention over 2,500 different vehicles from 10 major nations spanning over 100
I think I saw Battlefields coming out with a new game.
Look impressive, especially when you crank it, all the way up to 4K. You got those noise canceling headphones on. It becomes a really immersive experience. That truly
War Thunder is actually pretty fun, is it?
Head on. In War Thunder, all the vehicles are modeled down to the smallest details, and it's what makes these machines look so damn real. But it's not just the visuals, it's the gameplay that really stands out as well. They have a damage simulator that's very accurate, highlighted by their X-ray feature that is so helpful when you're trying to take down your opponents. Whenever I play this game, it instantly takes me back to like the early 2000s when I'm playing classic games like Conflict Desert Storm, the old Call of Duty games, and it's simply there to just get me in the action and have fun like I used to, man. There's comprehensive customization with all the vehicles, featuring countless camouflages, historical markings.
We do Heroic Queen today, Sam? Yeah, we are.
You can join 70 million other players completely free now with crossplay on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or on mobile. Check out the links in the description below.
Fucking Canadian, Jesus Christ, Moishi.
Up and support the channel. Not only that, if you make a new account or haven't played in the last 6 months, you'll receive a massive bonus pack across PC and consoles for free using the link to get you started in the game. 3 different
it ended with Beaver, if you were wondering.
Exclusive Decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account time. And all of it for absolutely free. Click the link below. Let's have some fun playing army games like we used to, man. Thanks, War Thunder, for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to the content.
Let's do it.
Right off the bat, with one of the biggest surprises of the PTR,
look at that.
We actually have the Destruction Warlock. Now, you have to understand, the only change coming to Warlock...
Destro Warlock, good for Warlocks, man. They've been taking a shit this expansion, all 3 specs, so this is good. Good for Warlocks.
So far is very minor. A couple talent updates, nothing too serious. But as usual, the later you get into an expansion, the better Warlock starts to scale. I think a lot of Warlock players out there were hoping for some talent updates across the board, but when it comes to Destruction Warlock, what you see is pretty much what you get. You're using Cataclysm on cooldown to spread your Wither. You're using Channel Demon Fire on cooldown to increase the duration of Wither, generate some soul shards, and then you just go into your AoE rotation. You toss out those Rain of Fires. Occasionally, you get some free procs here or there, and you summon your big demon to cast Chaos Bolts. And generally, the rotation is very nice, and it's very straightforward. One thing I particularly love about Destruction Warlock is that even if you're in a Mythic Plus type build, your single target damage doesn't suffer too greatly. So they don't really have too many weaknesses in their kit if you're in there.
I think I hate on Warlocks sometimes because I'm a little bit jealous of them because I feel like they're usually doing really well. At least one of their specs are. But the truth is, the game is better when Warlocks are good because at the end of the day, when you're raiding or something, or you just need somebody to summon, you're going to have a Warlock in your group. So it's good to see when they're not just a utility thing, when they can actually do damage too.
What you're doing. I also love that they can generate a lot of soul shards by using Havoc. You target another enemy, you double dip on the generation by using Conflagrate and stuff, and they can do a lot of their damage while being mobile. The biggest benefit has to be that Rain of Fire is uncapped AoE, and it's a very simple rotation, man. It's damn well effective, and I appreciate with Destruction that their tier set bonus just straight up gives them damage passively. It doesn't impede on their rotation or complicate things, because I think one of the niche things about Destruction is that it's very straightforward and easy to learn, right? Giving it my vote, honestly, for being one of the better DPS specs, especially for Warlock heading to the new patch. Moving on next, we have the Gunslinging Pirate Outlaw Rogue, and good lord, was this spec a blast to play the last few days on the PTR.
Look, I mean, Rogue, Hunter, Warlock, Rogue, Hunter, Shaman, they're all good, yeah, so no surprise, Outlaw Rogue is one of the top
personally, it has my vote for being one of the most fun specs in the game now. In 11.1, Outlaw Rogue is kind of the only rogue spec getting any significant updates, and they've done wonders for the spec. The developers are constantly updating it every other week at this point for Outlaw, and they're primarily targeting how many matches you can get on your Roll the Bones consistently. And if you've ever played Outlaw Rogue, Roll the Bones combat buffs is kind of everything when it comes to your damage. You also got to know that whenever you roll 5 dice...
Does anybody actually play Outlaw Rogue? This is very... It always feels like when I'm watching people play Outlaw Rogue, it's very RNG based because of the Roll the Bones shit. I just feel like, man, it's you and your luck whether you're going to pop off or not. But maybe it's all kind of more viable now, so it's not as bad of an RNG thing.
A match... It's super rare, but
it is RNG based, yeah.
Very powerful when it happens.
That's just how I feel.
The problem was that you were way too reliant on good rolls, and you would rarely get anything significant. So at this point in 11.1, I'm running dungeons, and it feels like 80% of the time I had 4 or 5 matches on my dice, and I felt very powerful the entire time. The rotation felt RNG. Very fast because I had all of my buffs going. I was generating and spending combo points very quickly to lower all my cooldowns. I was constantly going in and out of stealth with Vanish for my crack shot windows. You're flying around with your grappling hooks. You have a ton of mobility. I mean, holy
it does look
shit,
fun, though.
In 11.1, this is the most fun iteration of Outlaw I have ever played by far. They supplemented Outlaw Rogue's biggest weaknesses being tied to RNG, and they literally just made it to where the deck is always stacked with you. How often you're getting these 4 or 5 rolls at once. It's amazing, and if you combine it with Keep It Rolling, you have all of these buffs up potentially for like a minute straight, which makes you feel unstoppable instantly. Outlaw Rogue became a contender for one of the best DPS classes in 11.1, and if you've ever had any interest in at least trying the spec, now would be the time. Alright, now I'm sure you all have guessed that at least one spec of mage had to be on the list.
I will say Fire Mage, what were we just looking at? Fire and Frost Mage, those two have been played with most recently by Blizzard. We were just looking at these charts, biggest movers up and down. What was it? Frost Mage was the biggest buff up, and Fire Mage was the biggest nerf down, and he's still saying Fire Mage is one of the better ones, probably considering the new tier set bonus is a good reason why. But yeah, nice, interesting. Fire Mage.
Surprisingly, it's going to be Fire Mage in my opinion. Fire and Frost Mage are relatively close, but man, Fire is really starting to pick up as it's getting its hands on more stats and progressing through the expansion. Now, Blizzard has been trying to reduce the amount of cast and procs this spec is getting heading into the new patch, but I'm going to be honest, it really feels pretty much the same as before. The only difference now is that they're actually getting some damage increases on key abilities and procs like Pyroblast, Flame Strike, Phoenix Flames, and a couple other key abilities. One of my favorite parts
I remember Blizzard went through a whole phase where they buffed Frost Fire spells all over the place, and then there's set bonuses here. We see... what is this? 2-set bonus spell has a chance to hit jackpot. Yeah, cool. All this jackpot stuff for all these set bonuses. But yeah, all good. These new set bonuses do change how these specs are going to hit. And obviously this one's doing pretty good, I guess.
Fire this season is the integration of their tier set bonus, giving them some decent cooldown reduction on combustion so they can try and have their main damage source more consistently. Everybody knows that a Fire Mage without combustion hits like a wet noodle. But they're increasing the rate at which you get into combustion, while also increasing the damage by a flat amount once you enter it. So
I've actually always thought, I played Fire Mage back in the day. Yeah, your boy Sam didn't always play Death Knight. And I used to think Fire Mage was the most fun spec of all of them because of that combustion shit. And just the procs hitting and throwing giant pyroblasts and stuff. I mean, who doesn't love that?
I would say that's a pretty damn big recipe for success right now. The rotation hasn't really changed. You're constantly tossing out those instant casts to get the guaranteed crits. You get your hot streak procs. And then when you get knocked out of combustion, you use your Sun King's Blessing to get a nice little window of burst, get you back into combustion, and you're good to go. Generally, it's a really nice gameplay loop, but I do think the skill expression is definitely going to show if you do not know what you're doing on Fire Mage. It's definitely one of those classes that takes time to learn and has a high ceiling. Not only that, Fire Mage typically excels in higher end keys when they team up with some solid players. You get some really nice pulls of like 10 to 12 mobs at a time, and you can just fully go about your rotation, get things going. The damage will be ridiculous. All in all, though, Mage is dominating right now as it is, except for maybe Arcane. It's very fast-paced. You have instant cast spells all over the place with fire. You're very mobile. It just definitely isn't a spec you should be playing in lower keys. I love Fire Mage, though. Fantastic utility, amazing defensives, explosive burst. I mean, what more do you need? Next up, we probably have the biggest surprise on the list.
Beast.
We have the Beast Mastery Hunter.
Yeah, Beast Mastery Hunter got a complete rework. They're doing really, really good. Honestly, of any DPS spec right now, unless you, I mean, maybe you consider Shaman number one, but right behind Shaman, if not tied with Shaman, is Hunter right now. All three of their specs are so damn good. I told you guys yesterday my cousin was coming back to the game, and he was like, Sam, should I play my Mistweaver Monk or should I play my Hunter? And I told him, just play your Hunter, man. First off, healing in this game sucks dick right now. You don't want to get anywhere near that. It's a complete shit show because tanking sucks in this game right now. So just don't touch your healer. I told him. And besides that, Hunter is absolutely glorious right now. It's so good. You can even be just a decent player and pump really big numbers. So and it's all three specs. Literally pick one. Pick whatever your favorite is to play and play it.
Asked me a month ago if Beast Mastery Hunter is going to be dominating in AoE in 11.1.
Mistweaver is kind of chill.
I'd probably be laughing in your face. Beast Mastery
healing right now is bad.
Loads of updates heading into the new patch, with most of these changes being centered around increasing their AoE damage substantially. And I'm going to be honest, they nailed it. Actually, I think they nailed it too much because this shit looks absolutely broken. Not only that, Pack Leader got completely redesigned. Helps out Beast Mastery a good amount. Beast Mastery is absolutely back. They got new talents. They got Dire Cleave, where your Dire Beast can gain Beast Cleave. You got Poison Barbs, where your Barb Shot can explode. You spread Serpent Sting to enemies.
Great stuff.
You got Barrage being buffed. They got a new talent called Thundering Hook.
I'm sure their tier set bonus is good too. Bro, aren't you always crying about not having enough healers for raid? Yeah, there's a reason why we don't have enough healers, though. It's because healing in the game sucks right now. And I'm not going to do that to my own blood, man. The guy, my cousin, he's coming back first time in 2. He skipped Dragonflight. Guy, last time he was here was Shadowlands. He's already traumatized. I don't want him to come back and he's fucking has a bad experience healing the game. I'll just let him play his Hunter. Let him shoot from the dick and enjoy himself a little bit.
That your pets can do some stomp and AoE stuff. I mean, listen, I've been playing PTR the last week or so, and it feels impossible to keep up with a Beastmastery Hunter.
Yeah, I don't need healers, but other people do.
Group. Not only that, the rotation is brain dead easy. You're just keeping up your Barb Shot, your Thrill of the Hunt buffs as much as you can. You're pretty much just using Kill Command on cooldown. You use your Dire Beast in multi-shot. You get your Beast Cleave going. I always tell new players or players that want something simple, if you want a class that's fun, straightforward, and effective, Beast Mastery is the way to go. I mean, literally, if you mouse over their damage profile in this patch, the entire thing in AoE is just Kill Cleave, Beast Cleave. You combine all this with the new and improved Barrage and Explosive Shot. A 5-year-old can deal crazy damage right now.
5-year-old.
I love the spec heading into 11.1. It's been a while since Beast Mastery has dominated like this. I'm very excited to see how it pans out. Okay, next up, we of course got to talk about one of the best specs.
There's no way this list was going to happen without having a Shaman class on it. And honestly, both Elemental and Enhancement are freaking amazing right now. But yeah, Elemental Shaman, pop it the fuck off, of course.
The best specs in the game.
Sure how to help you with
wow,
that.
Alexa, what the fuck? I mean, seriously, what the fuck?
Tell me how I can improve.
No, just
Try
shut the
saying,
hell up.
I have feedback.
My God, fucking thing's so loud.
Elemental Shaman. Now after dominating a good amount of Season 1, I'm going to be honest, they look very strong heading into new season. Heading into new patch,
Alexa likes
Elemental
Shamans.
really isn't getting many changes. They did lose Ancestral Guidance, which does suck. And Deeply Rooted Elements got a little bit of a rework to make it proc more. Not only that, Primordial Wave deals a chunk of damage to enemies afflicted by Flame Shock. So really nothing too crazy. Something I do love about Elemental Shaman and Shaman in general is that when you activate Ascendance, you feel very powerful now. You got all...
You also look powerful. Don't forget, you got that new Ascendance form. You can pick between that one, the crazy-haired one, and the original. I mean, yeah, Shamans have been getting love this whole expansion.
Your spells getting duplicated. You're getting tons of elemental
Their spells
overload,
got new
which means you're generating
animations.
a ton of Maelstrom, and you can keep spending it on
shaman.
heavy-hitting abilities like Earthquake and AoE and Elemental Blast for single target. And then, of course, those are getting duplicated because you're in Ascendance. I mean, Ascendance has to be one of my favorite offensive cooldowns in the game because of how impactful it actually is. I think the damage is still going to be there for Elemental Shaman in the new patch, but by far the number one reason why this class is so good and one of the best DPS is how much utility they bring to their group as well. You have your Capacitor Totem, which is their AoE stun. You have the lowest cooldown interrupt in the game. You have Thunderstorm to knock everybody up. You have Healing Streak.
Very, very good for utility purposes, especially with Mythic Plus keys, you know, all the different affixes you're dealing with and stuff. Shamans are just so good at dealing with them. And they're showing up and pumping their dicks off. So, I mean, yeah, how could you not love having a Shaman in your group right now?
For some AoE healing, good mobility with Spirit Walker's Grace, Poison Cleansing Totem, Stone Bulwark Totem. I mean, dude, Elemental Shaman is fantastic.
Look how cool that lightning looks,
too. They deal fantastic damage. They're not really getting much changes, but this combined with their utility, I think this spec is in a great spot, and they'll continue to dominate.
No surprise on Shamans.
Now, moving on to our next DPS, surprisingly,
Windwalker
is
Monk.
Windwalker. I'm just going to...
This is a surprise. I was not expecting Windwalker Monk to be on here. We haven't seen him doing that great this whole expansion.
Be completely straight up, no more bullshit. Windwalker is a crap load of fun in the new patch. Now that they cleaned up the haste stat for them, And now
Fun,
that
but
they
does it
buffed
good
their
do
mastery
DPS?
significantly in
Does it do
Season
good
2,
DPS?
man, this spec is starting to feel good again. So with the patch, both your primary stats, haste and mastery, they got improved. Their spinning crane kick got a nice buff, so it deals more damage. Your procs on blackout kick deal
Wow, increased by 80%. Spinning crane, that's a fucking huge buff. What the hell? Okay, yeah, so they must be doing good damage now. All damage done reduced by 2. What the fuck? What are they doing here? I don't understand. Reducing but then increasing.
more
Okay.
damage. And by far, surprisingly, my favorite addition is their brand new ability, Slicing Winds. At first on the PTR, this ability
Okay.
wasn't really working. It was kind of garbage, but then they just buffed it. And I've had this Slicing Winds ability crit for like...
Isn't that the Plunderstorm ability? Did they give monks the Plunderstorm ability? Is this a click and charge? Let me see him do it again. Hold on. Slicing Winds.
It
Okay,
wasn't
let's see
really
him do
working.
it.
It was kind of...
It is. It's the Plunderstorm ability. It's literally the same charge up right here. Oh, so that's a pretty cool one actually. Oh, that's good for monks.
garbage, but then they just buffed it. And I've had this Slicing Winds ability crit for like 6 to 8 million damage
All new
on
ability,
AoE
yeah.
pulls in one single cast, which is insane.
Damn.
With Windwalker,
That's a big
there
number.
are times where your energy regeneration feels a little bit stiff, and during those moments, it's the perfect time now to use this ability, charge it up, you get some energy back, and then you dash through everybody dealing a bunch of damage, and then you can go through your
Nice.
rotation again. I will say, I like usual though, Windwalker is incredible when they have their cooldowns, but they tend to fall behind without them. So proper cooldown usage is absolutely critical for this spec. I will say nothing has really changed from a rotational aspect. Windwalker Monk is very, very fluid, and the rotation...
I will say because of rotational challenges and stuff like that, I've always felt like Monk was one of the harder classes to play in the game. I give people who play Monk properly a lot of props because it is a tougher spec to play. And another reason why I told my cousin, just stay away from Monk for a little bit, man. Like, you're coming back to the game for the first time in a long time. Play a class is a little bit easier. That's a hunter.
Works hand in hand with each other very well.
But I'm glad
It's
to
also
see they're
really
doing
nice
better
now, personally,
in the next
that
patch.
Fist of Fury can get some very big crits again due to their tier set bonus, and how it can increase its damage by like 80% in one cast. It makes it feel very good again. I've had one of my ticks of Fist of Fury crit for almost like 2 million damage on one target. Felt amazing. Overall, man, I'm loving Windwalker heading into Season 2. They got some nice updates to their stats. They got a brand new ability. That's a really good filler
Very good.
while their energy regeneration feels a bit stiff. And also, they have the coolest tier set in the game for Season 2, in my opinion.
They got the Dragon
where you're
Ball
looking
Z
like
set.
a freaking Super Saiyan. Overall, loving Windwalker right now. Moving on next, we do have
Balanced
the Balanced
Druid.
Druid. Now, I'm going to be honest. In Season 1, they ended up performing very well. And they're
I actually thought Feral Druid is going to be better than Balance in 11.1, but let's see his
looking
reasoning.
really good heading into Season 2. And the primary culprit to that is because Starfall has no AoE cap. You can cast it on the move, and
yeah,
it hits
okay.
everybody no matter what. So for Mythic Plus, and in very specific raid encounters, Balanced Druid is dealing some disgusting damage.
It's a
Now, when
bait.
it comes to the changes for Balanced Druid, the spec really only got minor updates to their base class talent tree overall. So as of right now, they haven't really had any changes to the class spec of Balance, which in my personal opinion kind of sucks because Balanced Druid has the worst set of defensives in the entire game.
And he's just talking shit about Balance Druid, and he's saying it's number 7 on this list. What the hell?
The only thing holding this spec back from being S tier.
Maybe it is bait,
Skin,
Moishi.
Trash defensive renewal, trash defensive survival instincts. You guessed it, trash defensive. They need to do something about their defensives because they're by far the worst in the game, and it's the thing holding this spec back the most. So now that we got the bad stuff out of the way, Balanced Druid
Okay, what's
damage-wise
good?
is in a very good spot. Not only that, it's incredibly simple. It reminds me of a warrior. You make sure you have your Sunfire, your Moonfire on the target, your Wrath a couple times, you get into your Lunar Eclipse, you spam Starfire, and that's pretty
Okay.
much the rotation. Then you get your resources up, and you spend it on Starfall or Star Surge. That's pretty much
So he's got it on here because it's just great at AoE, basically. That's what he's got it on here for.
the rotation. It's very visually appealing. It's very straightforward. You have no AoE cap on Starfall. You get a couple wild mushroom ticks here or there from your tier set, and the damage numbers are rolling in.
And the tier
things feel
set
good.
bonus.
Once again, the biggest thing that's holding this spec back is the defensives. There are other specs in the game that have better defensives that do not have an AoE cap. For example, Fire Mage can do the same thing. Way better defensives. Beast Mastery can do the same thing. A little bit better defensives. Destruction Warlock, same thing. Way better defensives. And all three of those classes just have better survival capability than Balanced Druid. So in that regard, they get beat.
That matters.
Overall, though, DPS-wise, they can keep up with pretty much everybody. And rotationally, I think Balanced Druid is in a good place heading into Season 2. And I think they're pretty fun overall. Okay, moving on to last but not least. To no one's surprise, yet again, here we have...
Enhancement Shaman. Yep, I said it earlier, right? When he brought up Shaman, I was like, yep, both of them are great. Yep, I'm sure. Enhancement Shaman is amazing. It's a great one to bring along on anything. When you're talking about Raid or Mythic Plus, It's just good to have him. Balanced Druid has good defenses. This guy's a moron.
Not least,
You
so
can
no one's
shapeshift
surprised
to
yet
bear
again.
form,
Here
that's
we
true.
have the Enhancement Shaman, the Michael Jordan of World of Warcraft.
The
This
Michael
class
Jordan of
dominated
World of
all of
Warcraft.
Season 1, and it's looking to do so again, believe it or not, in Season 2. This spec got some nice little additions coming to Season 2. They got some fantastic talent
Enhancement's
tree
amazing.
changes to where things are a lot more streamlined. Both of their hero talent trees are getting buffed. They got Voltaic Blaze. It's getting an increase in proc rate, so that's
Wow.
more AoE damage. And generally,
As if they needed buffs, they're getting buffed. I mean, and it's just, I don't know who's working at Blizzard right now, and their girlfriend is an Enhancement Shaman main or something, but they're giving a shit ton of love to Enhancement.
is just getting slightly improved from last season, which is crazy to think about. My favorite part, though, about Enhancement, bar none heading into Season 2, is their tier set bonus that makes Crash Lightning
Wow.
deal nuclear damage. And
120%?
yes, you heard that correctly. Crash Lightning dealing phenomenal damage. Your tier set builds up these stacks, and if you use Crash Lightning at 10 stacks, you can hit each individual target in front of you with Crash Lightning for like 3 to 4 million
Holy.
damage each, and it is insane. The rotation for
It's a
Enhancement
huge AoE
is
damage.
super engaging. It's fast-paced. And honestly, it reminds me a lot of Fire Mage in a way for a melee DPS class. They have 2 hero talent trees that are viable. They have Totemic and Stormbringer. Both of them are getting buffed. They have a very wide variety of gameplay styles, so you can always mix things up. And everything in this spec feels very solid compared to some of the other classes in the game where things feel stiff. And I hate to bring it up, Feral Druid, Arms Warrior, and forgetting about damage numbers aside now, Enhancement Shaman, once again, just like Elemental, brings incredible utility. You have
I do know, though, based on the charts, Feral Druid's looking really good single target. I do want to say that. They came from the rock bottom, man. Blizzard buffed the shit out of them.
the new raid-wide buff for Mastery. You have Capacitor Totem for stuns. You have Thunderstorm to knock people up. You have Wind Shear, which is the lowest cooldown interrupt in the game. You have Poison Cleansing Totem. I mean, dude, they have so many
Yeah,
things
so much
at their
utility.
disposal. At this point, you name it, the Enhancement Shaman has it, and it's very, very clear winner and easily one of the best DPS specs in the game on the PTR right now, heading into Season 2. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up our list. Right now, it's a very tight race, man. There's a lot of classes that could have made this list. Retribution Paladin, Unholy Death Knight, Frost Mage. I was really trying to fit them in somewhere, but it just became too difficult. But anything can happen heading into the final lap. Season 2 is just around the corner, and I hope you guys
Not
got
a bad
some good
list.
information, a good idea on who's doing really well so far in the PTR. One last note we wanted to make. If you're looking for a guild or people to
what?
progress through Mythic Plus with or raid with next season, the Comeback Kids are recruiting, and any and all players are
Oh,
welcome to
wow.
come on down, play with us. We're
Oh.
looking to fill out some new members for the raid. Oh my god, we fucking did it. Oh my god, let's fucking go, bro. Let's fucking go. That's how that shit gets done.
gee,
If you're on the
nerdgasm,
board,
so
you can simply
gone.
just go to the guild tab and search up the Comeback Kids, and we should pop up. Make sure you do have the guild size on any so you can actually see us. Either way, though, if it doesn't work, you just use the Discord link in
That's
the
loud
comment
as
section
shit.
below. Hop in there and verify, get yourself in, and then we can get you invited by you posting your name and server under the guild invite tab.
There
Also
it
want to
is.
shout out War Thunder again for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile, and use my link in the pinned comment below to register. Those of you who are new or haven't played in 6 months, you'll also receive a massive bonus pack across PC and consoles,
Okay.
including multiple premium vehicles,
Sure.
in-game currency, and more. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, it's a good video. I agree with a lot of his classes. I mean, like Feral Druid wasn't on there. I'm not sure why, but obviously your mage specs, your rogue specs, and your shaman specs. I mean, they're all doing good. They're all really good at DPS right now. I was surprised with the monk, but hey, that's really good, and they're getting a new ability too, so that's pretty awesome. All these tier set bonuses do flip things around, so it's good to see this this list to review. I'll link this in the chat. A nice video from the Comeback Kids.